Hello and welcome to IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook. Today I'm going to show you how to make a utensil caddy. For this project you will need 6 tin cans, a piece of wood the length of 3 of the cans, spray paint, 6 small screws and a screwdriver, a ruler, a hammer, and a starter nail, 2 eye hooks, and some twine. Let's get started. The first thing that I did was spray paint all 6 of my cans and my piece of wood. I chose blue, but you can do whatever color you want. We're going to be attaching the cans to the side of the board, 3 on each side, so I need to know what the middle of my board is. My board is 9 3/4 inches long, just because that's what size of board I had, so I marked the middle of 4 7/8 inches. Next I'm going to start with my largest can. Now it is best if you can do similar sized cans, but I have 2 large cans and 4 small, so I'm going to be using 2 small and 1 large on each side. And the first thing we're going to do is put a hole right here on one side of the can. And to do that I'm going to use a starter nail, which is actually a fairly long screw, and a hammer. And I'm just going to use this piece of extra wood that I have so that I don't put the nail into my table, and I'm just going to poke a hole through the can. Please be careful and don't hurt your fingers. Now that I have that hole in there, I'm going to take that starter screw out, and you can see the hole is the whole way through. I'm going to take one of my small screws and put it through the hole, and if your starter hole isn't large enough, the screw will make it a little bit bigger as you put it through. So I'm going to go ahead and put it the whole way through the hole, and then I'm going to line the center of my can up with the center of my board. I'm also going to make sure that the bottom edge of my can is lined up with the bottom edge of my board. And then I'm going to screw the can to the board. So I'm just going to angle that screwdriver in there to get it started, and then I'm going to go ahead and set it up on so that you can see this a little better, hopefully. And I'm just going to put that screw the whole way into the board. And you want to make sure that this is nice and tight to the board. I'm then going to repeat this process with the remaining 5 cans. So like I said, I'm going to do 2 small cans on each side of this large can, and then repeat the process on the other side of the board. And as you can see, I'm making the small cans touch the large can so that everything is close together. So I'm working on the large can for the other side, and it does have a little bit of a lip, so I did want to make sure that that's pushed in there with the pair of pliers. And then I'm just going to line it up so that it is on the opposite side of the large can I've already put, but you want to make sure that it's not exact because you don't want your screws to run into each other. Alright, we've got all 6 cans on there, and we're going to use the eye hooks to create a handle. Now I did put drill some holes in there because I tried to do this without drilling holes and I just couldn't get them started. So I did drill some pre-started holes to help me get the eye hooks in, and I'm just putting them in the top about 1.5 inches in from each end. Now I'm going to use my twine to create a handle, and my twine's pretty thin, so I'm actually going to make my handle 3 pieces of twine. So I'm just going to loop it through the eye hooks back and forth a couple of times to make it so that it is 3 pieces of twine, and then I'm just going to tie the ends off. You do want to make sure that you have enough room between the board and the top of the handle to put your hand in there so that you can go ahead and grab that. And like I said, I'm just going to tie both ends off with a knot and then trim those up. And that's it. You've got a great way to organize your silverware, napkins, straws, everything you need for your next picnic. Stay safe and see you next week on IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook.